So, you've decided to play a tank. Well, congratulations! You just became the default leader of a group of adolescent crybabies who will scream obscenities at you the moment they take a single point of damage. And with a slew of new MMOs coming out this year, there may be a few of you out there crazy enough to pick this thankless class. You psychos. That's why I'm here to give you a few lessons to those considering the role of tank. So follow me. Why do I even bother reading that line? Lesson number 1. You're in charge. It doesn't matter whether you want to be or not, because as it turns out, MMOs are not a democracy. The moment you selected tank as your role in that group finder, you were elected. And as the person wearing the most armor in the group, everyone will naturally look to you to keep them safe. But what if you're new to tanking and don't know anything? Well, that brings us to lesson number 2. Lesson number 2. Know everything. Loot locations, loot tables, trash mob mechanics, boss mechanics, your skills, your group members' skills and when they should be used, your cooldowns, their cooldowns and what they're currently at, quantum and molecular theory. All of these may and will come up during your time as a tank. If you don't know these things, well, you have a few options. A. You can admit to the team that you're not in fact a walking wiki, but this won't change anything because refer to lesson number 1. B. You could actually learn everything, but that would take a lot of time and effort. C. Fake it. Give out vague tactics such as stay out of the red, kill the ads, same as normal, or just follow my lead. That way, if members of the group happen to die, you can blame them for not following your advice. Lesson number 3. Cardio. You better get used to running. A lot, because you're going to need it. Being a tank, it seems that everyone must run ahead of you despite all common sense. You might want to take a shower just to be sure it's not you. Now, if you do happen to come across a group that doesn't actually bolt in front of you, that doesn't mean you get to slack. Because, as the tank, you need to never stop moving. When they aren't actively trying to kill themselves, your team should be attempting to keep up with you. Remember, you are the alpha. You need to bring everyone up to your level. Ignore their complaints about low health, low mana, and muscle cramps. What doesn't kill them only makes them stronger, and what does kill them means it's time to replace them with a pug. Lesson number 4. You're going to die. Being the frontline defense of your group means you're going to die. It's just going to happen. Get used to it. Lesson number 5. Armor up. A good tank is going to need the best in tempered metallic personal body coverings. Or, in layman's terms, armor. You'll want to make sure your person is protected from head to toe. Perfect! But if metal is not your style, there are other options. However, armoring up is not just about armor. Developing a thick skin is also an important part of being a tank. Whenever something goes wrong in your group, you will be blamed. Your armor isn't high enough. Your health is too low. You didn't taunt appropriately. You're going to need to learn to take these insults in stride. Lesson number 6. Blame the healer. When the insults start flying, remember, it's always the healer's fault, no matter what. They might in fact be the best healer in the world, but we can't have people blaming you. And Lord knows the DPS are not going to take responsibility for their mistakes. Healers make the perfect scapegoats. So it only makes sense to place your shortcomings on them. But does any of this make you a better tank? Of course not. These are the things you need to have prepared before even beginning to tank. So, do you still want to be a tank? God help you. Here's some handy tips. Tip number 1. Make friends. As a tank, you're going to need the help of others. Mainly just your healer. Unless this is one of those newfangled MMOs without healers. Then you're just Otherwise, your healer is your lifeline. Plus, healers are touchy little bastards. Piss them off, and you might as well be eating dirt now. Become their friend, and you just might live long enough to see your group wipe when the DPS inevitably screw up. Plus, you're going to be blaming the healer for everything that happens. So, it's best to build a camaraderie there as quickly as possible. Tip number 2. Just learn this simple acronym. Natavooski. Never taunt for the assholes who can't follow simple instructions. You tell them to hold back their DPS. You tell them not to pull. You tell them not to run ahead. You tell them everything you can to help them stay alive. But what if they just don't listen? Well, your taunts could always just fail to work. If you catch my drift. Whatever. Tip number 3. Location, location, location. No, I'm not saying you should become a real estate agent. That would be sane and profitable. No, oftentimes, being an amazing tank depends entirely on where you stand. Not in lava, acid, poison, red telegraphs, or anything else that happens to cause pain is always a good start. But an amazing tank will also know how to make their team's location irrelevant by moving the boss in such a way that you keep enemy telegraphs off them entirely. You can't really help them if they stand in lava though. That's just a special kind of stupid. Tip number 4. If at first you don't succeed, so you've tried and tried to defeat that boss, but you just can't do it. Well, it sounds like it's time for a strategy session to discuss the best ways to... No! It's time to up and quit and find yourself a new group. You're a tank. Everyone else is easily replaceable. Heck, you pretty much get an instant group queue. So the moment you feel like your progression is being held back by lesser beings, then it's time to swap them out. And there you have it. With these patented lessons and tips, you're ready to get out there and get smacked around for your team. But at the end of the day, when you think you just can't take one more hit, remember the tank's motto. Swords and maces may hit our faces, and knives and bows may pierce our bones. But Lord knows you better heal me through it and not pull aggro, otherwise I'm letting you die.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching my guide to tanking. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I put out a new video every week. I've also put another video for you to watch right up here. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter, or if you want to chat, you can join us on Discord. And if you really want to help out the channel, you can donate to me on Patreon like these other amazing people. They are easily the best tanks I've ever seen.